The way that this is going to run today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Peek and Poke first. I'm very aware that we have got some clients here, some people who have used games before, but some people who are completely new to the concept. So I will give you a little brief introduction to Peek and Poke first, before we get into the meat of it with our lovely guest, Carol, who has used games at her trade shows before as well. And then we will have a Q&A at the end. Some of you have already asked some questions as you were signing up to the webinar, so we'll go through those. And then if you want to ask any questions about any of the content as we're going through, please feel free to do that. Christina will be monitoring that and we will go through them at the end as well. Okay, so I am going to be hopping in and out of my deck. So I will just share for 1 second. Do that, and then I can do this. Okay, so if you can give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can see that okay. Excellent. Okay, so a quick intro to Peek and Poke first. Who are we? Full disclosure, we make games for brands. That's exactly what we do. We make HTML5 browser-based games for brands to use in their marketing. We have worked with lots of brands, big B2C brands, like I'm sure you're all very aware of, Pringles, Shell, Kellogg's, QuickFit, and some rather large B2B brands too, HPE, IBM, Nvidia. We also work with lots of SMEs and companies across lots of different verticals. So companies that work in the tech space, companies that work in financial services, you name it, there is a game and an opportunity to use games for you too. This particular webinar is of course about trade shows and how brands can use games, particularly B2B brands, can use games at their trade shows and events to stand out, to drive footfall, to capture data, and to make you memorable, because at the end of the day, when you're exhibiting at exhibitions, be them large or small, you're also competing with lots of other stands as well, and sometimes most likely competitors too. So standing out is a real challenge. So this is how some of our kind of clients have used games on their stands, and they are really fun. Our games are pre-built. They are already developed, so you don't have to fall down that deep, dark development hole. And it can be quite deep, believe me. So the way that we operate is we have created these games. They are fun to play. They are based on casual games that you will recognize, you will know and love. Things like the Match 3, which is a little bit like Candy Crush. We've got a Pac-Man one, which is a little bit like, it's a maze game, which is a little bit like Pac-Man. We've got a running platform jumper. We've got mini quizzes, super quizzes, all sorts of things that you can choose from, so that you can choose a game that is perfect for either the theme of the event or the theme of your product and company as well. There's lots of different opportunities within this as well. We can either brand them very lightly, adding a logo to it, changing the copy, or we can completely change the way that they look and feel. So before I go on anymore, because I could talk about games all day, let's actually find out from Carol. We'll welcome Carol in, because that's what we're all here for today, to chat about her experience with games. Carol, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for inviting me, Cari.
No problem. We're excited to have you. I'm going to stop sharing a second so we can all see you. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. I know this is a different one for you. You're normally on the other side of this, kind of hosting the webinars.
Yes, that's most of marketers, I think, here on this call.
Well, thank you very much. I won't, I'll be very gentle. I won't be a paxman. We're all just here to find out your experience and how it went down for you. So why don't we start with an easy one? Tell us a little bit about Hornetsecurity and its audience. What do Hornetsecurity do?
Yes, Hornetsecurity is the global cybersecurity company. We were acquired by Proofpoint end of last year. We work mainly with Microsoft security, so we secure Microsoft 365 environments. Also, we are, in terms of audience, our main audience are SMEs, as you mentioned, SMEs. Definitely, that's our focus. And that's why also we were acquired by Proofpoint. So our focus, especially here in Europe, was to develop our partner, uh, let's say, environment and network. So we are the MSP arm of Proofpoint now.
Okay, yeah, big remit for you there. So what's your remit at Hornet Security?
I am the regional marketing manager responsible for all Northern Europe, so UK and I, Benelux, and all the Nordic countries.
Okay.
So that's talking about all events, big, small, hosted trade shows, big trade shows and small trade shows, but also webinars, digital campaigns, email marketing, digital campaigns, meaning LinkedIn campaigns as well. So a bit of everything, partner marketing as well. So working with the partners on their campaigns with us, talking about MDF as well, and end user campaigns as well. So all of this focusing both on MSPs, on the partners, and also on end users.
Okay, lots there then.
Yeah.
Lots of different channels to keep hold of there. And are there how's 2026 going for you? What are the particular kind of marketing priorities on your list for this year?
We do have an increase in our budget and all activities, but
That's
mostly more
lucky.
events. Yes. So we do have more events in our calendar, and we increased our investment in those events. So we definitely want to have a bigger presence in all events, so we can increase the capture of leads, but also the quality of our presence in those events, and how we are presenting our brand and how we are interacting with the audience, with the attendees, and not just at events, but also all other kinds of campaigns. So we are going bigger and bolder this year, which brings a lot of more responsibility, but also a lot of more innovation. So the investments that we started to do and the innovations that we started to do, like bringing, Peek and Poke, bringing the games to our trade shows, was definitely the right start. So we usually do this. We start it's small testing,
Mm.
then we grow. So it was the right move to start in 2025 to then in 2026 grow and invest more in everything that is innovative and that can increase our presence, can increase how people are experiencing our brand, are experiencing us at events and other campaigns.
That's amazing that you've got, that you see the value in events because I think there's been a lot of conversation, post COVID about how events and exhibitions are, they'll never be the same again. So that seems to be not your experience at all.
No, we are much pro events company. So our founders and our leadership, it is a pro event leadership. We invest massively. So all the tech companies that have been to the big ITSA event in Germany, they probably have seen the massive stand that we have. That is the biggest. We also had the biggest. Space at France Lefic
Okay.
as well. So it is a company that invests heavily at events and experience at events. So it's not just being there, but it is having a experience for everyone that is attending. So it is bringing that wow, it is bringing that what is different, is not being the same, as many. Everyone that goes to those trade shows, big or small, they are like, okay, yeah, it's more of the same. So we are always looking to, okay, how can we differentiate ourselves? And that's why I think one of the reasons I particularly was like, okay, we need to bring a game. We need to, innovate into how our presence is into the small, not just the big trade shows as well.
Yeah, amazing. So you mentioned there that your exhibition calendar is very varied. So you have big events and small events as well. So how does that work? I mean, I'm guessing that you want to have something that you can use across the board, or do you take them as, their own kind of siloed events?
So we do tend to have kind of packages. So we like to keep consistency in terms of what we are presenting to each event. Obviously, there is some particularities depending on the trade show, depending on the vendor of the event. But we want to keep that consistency in what we are bringing to the event. So we always have kind of the same materials, visuals, and we wanted something that we could take as an experience as well. So that's why I wanted a game, and especially a game that, was easy to set up and it was, I didn't have much to do on the day, or that I personally wouldn't have to be there to set up. So,
Yeah.
because I'm not always there, especially for the smaller events, it's only the sales team that is there, or the pre-sales team that is there, so that they could do it on their own without many instructions or a long list of steps, that they would just be like, okay, I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna say that it's not working and that's it. So I was like, okay, I have to find something that it's easy, that it's not dependable on, highly technical people to set up, or it needs a lot of tech,
Yeah.
pieces of tech, hardware. So and that's when I found you guys, and it was like instant. No, it's quite easy. It's just, URL base. You just need internet. I was like, oh yeah. Unless the event is in a dungeon without any access to internet, which can happen. Yeah, but then again, if it's in a dungeon without internet access, what much can we do? Um, yeah, it's an easy fix.
This might be a good place to loop in the audience on actually what you did. So let me just pop onto my presentation again, and then we can actually show your um, show your game and show how you managed to present it. Sorry, I told you I wasn't very good at doing two things at once. Right, let me share now. I want to make sure that the audio on this video is turned off, because just before, when we were doing our little tech check, I realized that there was some 90s music streaming behind this video, which is very embarrassing. So I'm going to make sure that that is muted. Okay, and we'll go full screen. Right, can everybody give me a thumbs up that you can see this?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so this was the game that you opted for. So earlier on, I was kind of sharing the kind of base core games that we have. This is our flyer, one of our ready to go games. So just to fill you in on those who aren't aware, we've got two levels of service. We've got ready to go and we've got tailored. So ready to go is essentially out of the box. You buy it online, you get a link to an editor tool. So when Carol, you were talking about it being easy to set up, I'm guessing this was part of it. So getting your game set up. why don't you talk us through that process? Firstly, why did you choose this game in particular?
So definitely the name, Data Booster, because it is connected to our brand, to what we do. We are talking about data protection and etc. And we have in our brand, we have our superheroes. And when I saw it, and also in our brand, we have a hornet. And they do have a hornet there. In this case, the hornet is actually one of the bad guys. So it is counterintuitive, but it just fits with our language in this case. And it's just visually lovely and just really fits with our brand language as well. So that's why, which is, and it was also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the promo of the month. So
Ah, you were lucky there.
definitely that also brings, an extra to the table.
Absolutely, that's for sure. Right, if I just press play on this, we should be able to have a little look at it as well. So ready to go, you still get the opportunity to put your logo in there as well. So there's an opportunity to put the logo on the kind of main menu, and then also you can see the logo in the background of the game in particular as well. Remind me, Carol, did you actually change some of those billboards to be the event billboards as well?
Yes, I did. So for some of the events, because they were kind of, I think, a month before other events, or they were connected to products that we were promoting
Ah,
at the
yeah.
time. I did put in like a small banner that was on that product or to promote that event specifically.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. So you've also got not multi-game license, you've got the game for the
Multi-event.
year multi-events license, that's right. So you
Yeah.
can use this at all of the events that you've got going on, right? So throughout the year. So it's nice to be able to adapt as you go through the calendar and change it up a little bit as well. We might have seen there while we were going through the video that there was a competition to win as well. Why don't you talk us through how you managed that?
Yeah, so because we don't usually take much swag or much merchandise to all
Mm,
events, and we like to give something premium, and we just think that people are more drawn to play or to do stuff when there's like a premium gift in the end. For some of the events, not all of the events, we did a prize draw, so not a draw, but a prize for the leaderboard.
yeah.
So for the first, second, and third place, and yeah, it was amount of points. And for some of the events, we managed to give it on the day. Uh, but depending on the setup of the event, people usually leave by the end of the event.
Mm.
So as we get the details through when they are submitting their score, we can contact them. We could contact them and send also. It's also a nice way for the sales team to follow up with them afterwards to send their gift.
Yeah, it really is, isn't
Yeah.
it? And I think, I mean, lots of clients obviously use games for events, but we use them ourselves at our own events. So we've seen it from experience. You know, it's much easier to have a game there so that when people are coming past and you're trying to get their attention to go, hey, do you want to come and play a game to win a prize? And if there's a prize and some sort of motivation for them to get involved, it's much easier to hook them in with that than to say, can I tell you about our product? You know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I tell the sales team. Now they know about the game, so now it's easier for them to do this kind of hook. So it's always like, oh yeah, how can I get this VR set or this mini drone? And it's like, oh yeah, just play the game, or or the other way around. Just yeah, do you want to play? Do you want to get this thing, just play the game and get the best score and etc. So
Yeah, exactly. And by the time you've had that conversation and they've played the game, that conversation is easier to have afterwards because they're there, they're engaged, and they are, you know, they're on the stand. So then you can then kind of ask, what brings you here today? Can I talk to you about this? And they, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely, definitely helps just to kind of,
yeah.
it's the cherry on
Break
the
the
top.
ice. Yeah, it's to break
Absolutely.
the ice. I think it's always about breaking the ice because
Yeah,
people don't like, even though they are there to kind of be talked to, they don't like, nobody likes to be talked to or sold to, you know. So if there's anything that we can help the sales team to break the ice, you know, it's a game. Who doesn't like to play a game, you know? Even though
absolutely.
the person doesn't want to, you know, if they see someone else playing it, they're like, oh yeah, what's that, you know? And they might be like, oh no, I don't want to.
It's one of my favorite things being at an event when, you know, you see groups of people come together, and they either all crowd around and they'll kind of do a quiz together, for example, or they'll play the games together, and then they'll come back because part of this is that you get a leaderboard as well, right? So you mentioned that you were giving prizes away for the leaderboard. People come back regardless of whether or not they're going to win anything or not, just to see if they are still there, if they're in the top 10, if somebody's beaten them. So yeah, it's a lot of fun and it creates a bit of buzz as well, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. And before we move on to the way that it looks on your stand then, um, you mentioned prizes. Was there any particular prizes that went down quite well, or do you vary them, you know, between show to show?
So one thing that we were giving away last year was a mini drone
Oh, okay.
because one of our heroes is now a is Amy. It's she's a bug. She's also like a bug, a flying bug. And the way that they designed it, it's also like a drone, like a flying drone. So we did that. And one of the big events that we did for the partners was a VR game as well. We were giving a VR set. The VR set is lovely. Everyone's,
I bet, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
So,
bet that
yeah,
goes down very well.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So let's just have a look at how you've presented it then. So you mentioned that you know, it was very easy to set up at the stand and that you could do it even,
Yes.
you know, the salespeople could do it even when you weren't there. So talk us through how you've been managing this.
Oh, sorry, I have something on my throat, but
Oh
yeah,
no, are you okay? Do you want a sip of water?
yeah. No, no, it's fine. I'll just keep muting and coughing in between. But so we had already this multimedia screen that is touch screen.
It's
It
so
has
great.
battery, so yeah, you don't have to like keep it connected. Uh, it's Android, so it's Wi-Fi. Oh, you know, easy to set up itself. So you don't have much to set up actually. Just turn on and it's already turned on. So basically, click on Google Chrome, as it's easier, Google Chrome, put on the URL and done, you know, because
Yeah.
I was the one just like clearing the leaderboard and on the back end. And that was it. So even the sales team was like, "Oh, do you have like a step by step?" And I was like,
Turn it
there
on.
is no step by step. It's just literally copying and pasting the URL. So yeah, it's easy peasy. The hardest part was for them to find the button to literally turn on the screen. Like if you can't find the button, I mean, I don't know what else you know I can do to help you.
Yeah, we've been
So
admiring this device. It's really great, isn't it? So it just folds
yeah,
into itself and then you can carry it
yeah.
around with you.
Yeah. So I can see Tessa asking for the link. I'll send Carrie the link and Christina and they will share. So we are also studying a different one because this one is a bit heavy to carry.
Mm,
I was just telling the guy, so we are studying a new one that is easier to carry and has like a stand that actually you don't have to put on a table. Because some events you don't have a table, or
Yeah.
even like you don't want to use a table, you want to have it on the side. So for this one, you have to have a table, you have to have a place that you can put it on. Um, but yeah, other than that, this is great. This is honestly really, really good.
And
Um,
what's nice about it, I suppose, as well, from your perspective, is that you have a URL, right? So whatever device you've got, so if you go for this stand
yeah,
that's got the stand on it,
yeah,
we've seen clients have a game that is on a laptop plugged into
yeah,
a HDMI onto a big screen, and then you can play it on a controller, which is quite nice.
yeah.
You've got that nostalgic feel to it. We do have arcade cabs as well, so if anybody's seen us at the B2B marketing event in the Excel, we always take our kind of arcade cabs to there, and they're really good fun as well. So essentially any device that has got internet enabled is what you need really. The touch screens, not all touch screens are created equal. I always say this to people.
Mm-hmm.
Some touch screens, if they're a bit older, can be laggy, so always test them first.
Yeah.
iPads are brilliant because they're really responsive. But yeah, all we've got demos on the website, so you can demo that particular game on the device that you're
Yes.
going to be using. So yeah,
Yeah, and the team
super.
was really great with it because the first time, because before I bought it, I was the game. I was talking, I think it was with Christina, and I was like, well, I already have the screen, so I need to be sure that the game works with the screen. She said, okay, here's a URL for you to test it, but like use a Google Chrome and use this, but it should be quite easy. So. I just literally went and did it, and they supported me like, oh yeah, did it work? So I sent the videos like, yeah, it works perfectly. It was literally right away to test and use it. So if you already have the screen, just it's easy to test it with the demo environment and so on. I think there was another question. That
I can't see
like
them come in. Have you
scroll,
seen one?
yeah. Oh, it's
Uh,
the case, I think. Oh, this one, Jack, yeah, it's with the case. So they come out to, so they are together. They are one thing. So that's what is good about it, because we know that it's going to be protected while in transport. So like the screen, it's not gonna break or anything. And it also has like a control. It has a controller, like a game controller and all. We didn't use for this game particularly because it is good for the
yeah.
touch. But yeah, it all comes together. So that's my worry for the second screen. So if it has a case, because that's the main part. It's like how is the screen going to be protected
Mm.
because we don't want it to break.
Yeah, of course. And it is worth noting if, you don't want to buy your own, we have partners that we can work with, certainly in the UK, that can just set it up, take it to the event for you,
Yeah.
get it all ready, and then they'll come and pick it up at the end of the event as well. So that is also possible,
Yeah.
too. Um, okay, before I drop out of this presentation, I think you mentioned before as well that you saw on the video that people can put in their details in there, so that's the kind of data capture element of it. So they put their email, first name, last name, email. We can put company name on there as well, and maybe job title if you need it, either or. And then that data is yours, and you get to see that in the back end, right? So you get to see how many people have played it, um, how long they played it for, if they've opted into marketing, and you can access that quite easily.
Yes, it's all in the back end, very easy to download, very easy to see during the day if you need to, if you want to see how it's going. Because during the event, you're like, oh, I don't know how many people are actually playing. You just go into the back end and you just see it. Yeah, it's all very easy to manage.
Yeah, so even if you're not there, like you
Yeah,
mentioned, some events you can't go to, you can't be at every one of them.
yeah,
You can see how it's going
yeah,
from afar.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Very
Okay.
intuitive. And sometimes, even if it's not a, because I don't know, sometimes for us marketeers, it's not all very intuitive. So I just pop in an email, and Christina, or anyone in the team actually would just reply very quickly, and help me out. Also, yeah.
Good. So good support as well.
Yeah, oh, Sippo is amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's chat about the results then. So I had a look at your back end system where you get a dashboard and you see everything, like I mentioned, who's playing and how they're going. So 100 players so far, 300 games played, and a 60% marketing opt-in rate. So how is it? How do you feel it's gone for you?
Yeah, it's going really well. So I think we used in total in four events so far, 4 or 5 events so far. And that was from October, November last year. So it was really the first few events, just to really test it out and get the team going. And this year we have plans to use it in a lot more events from the start of the year, events that really make sense as well. So you really have to think about that. Events that make sense to you to have the screen or have a screen and bring the game. The sales team is really happy because they've never
Mm,
had anything like this before. Anything that would actually bring people to the stand. We do have loads of swag, so we usually try to tie things up, try to like say, okay, play the game and get a swag. So not just to have the swags for the or merchandise or gifts for the leaderboard. So we can also encourage people to play as well. But yeah, the sales team finds it fantastic because it's just more people for them to talk and to start conversations. And yeah, they are really excited for this year to be using it in more events.
fantastic. Yeah, so you've got
Yeah.
lots more events that you're going to be going to.
Yeah.
Are you going worldwide? Do you have events all over the world?
Yeah, we are mostly in Europe, but we do have events also in the States and Canada and a few in Latam.
Hmm.
But yeah, we definitely we used it here in the UK and Amsterdam. We took it as well. So we are probably taking it to, oh, I think we used it in the Nordics as well. So. Definitely Europe-wide, it's the plan.
So it sounds like then that you've got some super value out of this because obviously
Yeah.
you've used it all over already and you're planning on using it way into 2026 as well. What's really
Yeah.
nice about it, because it's a browser-based game, that you'll be able to use it in the States and Canada as well. So,
Yes,
um,
yes. And because of the language as well, capabilities. So, it's not a game that needs a lot of, changes in the setup. So maybe on the form, you can change the language to, facilitate for other countries. But then that's it. Like, there's not much that you need to change to be able to use it in different countries for different languages.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you very much. I've got one last question for you before we go and answer all those Q&As that have come in that I've seen
Cool.
fly in. Um, Games then, in general, this was the first time that you used games in marketing, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
especially in events. Uh, in it like for other campaigns, I think that there's more for digital campaigns. Like and you guys did a nice one during the Christmas period, and I think. Trade shows are much, and I know that there is a question here about like physical games, let's say for trade shows. But I think there's so much more that we can do during trade shows and during events to include games,
Mm.
and that not all companies, especially technology companies, which is crazy to think, but we definitely have to, because it is connected to the audience. So people like games, people play games in the day to day, if it's on their phones or playing with their children when they have, or with nephews and or even like cousins. But it is something that connects with another side, that it's not business,
Yeah.
and I think that's where it really helps to make a connection, a different kind of connection. And when I brought this game to the leadership, they were like, "Oh yeah, this reminds me the old games when I was," and I was like, "Well, this reminds me of the games when I was, young, and it's not been that long." So it really connects with this side of people, and I think it helps. It only helps, I know that there's a fine line, and I think someone has asked this beforehand, like, what is the fine line, between being too ludicrous, and like serious brands.
Mm.
But you can find, and you can tiptoe, and you can even uh, personalize the game to be less, maybe more serious, depending on the color scheme or even the character that you are using it. But games, everyone likes it. Everyone will play it. The sea level is still a person. I think we sometimes forget about it. It still may be a dad or an uncle, that still, have played this game when they were young. So they won't not play the game just because they are, an important guy or lady in the company and la di la. It might be sometimes not the setting for the event or the audience, or you just have to think about that. But yeah,
I,
certainly games, they have to, you have to include it so you can do this mix and match of activities in your marketing mix.
I love that. That's music to my ears because we talk a lot about emotional connection and how important it is, certainly in B2B. Just to cut through all of the product stuff that we talk about, because that's essentially how you become memorable, right? And that connection between, your leadership team saying, "Oh my God, this reminds me of," all of those things really help to build up a picture of a brand, and that's what's going to help make you memorable going forward, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Carol. I think that was really valuable. I really enjoyed talking to you and understanding your experience of it all. I think we've got 20 minutes left, so we'll try and get through as many of these questions as possible. Um, I think we'll start with the ones that we had from people signing in, and then I'll see if I can hop into the Q&A and ask any more. And if you've got any particular ones for Carol as well, please do ask, and we can try and get as many done as possible in the next 20 minutes. Okay, so the first one is from Faye. How to toe the line. I think we might have just covered this one, but it's a really good one. How to toe the line between using a game to engage, but also being true to your brand's tone. I work for a very serious and professional brand, and some of our clients are government figures, so I feel like we can't be as much fun as I would like. So I can take that one straight off. Piggybacking off what Carol mentioned, is that at the end of the day, we're all people, regardless of being a government figure or not. We're all people, and we all love to play games. It is true that some people might not resonate as with some games as others, and you might just want to try a few things. There's certainly a good place to start would be something like a quiz or something like that, something that's a bit more light touch, but still playful. So there's lots of opportunities to try it, and I think what's what's a nice thing about the way that we operate with the ready to go side of things as well is that it's actually quite cost effective to trial something. You can, you can have something for under £1,000 for a particular event to have a go and see if it resonates. But it is good to remember that we all are human and we all do like to play games, essentially. And if it is a bit of an icebreaker, that's a good starting point, which you can then go on to chat about the messages. We can also include brand messages and product messages in games as well. We've had lots of clients who, want to have an educational part to their game, so it's very much about product or about something that they want to get across, and that's something that we can do in lots of different ways. We can have in between levels of different games, we can have lots of different messages. We can have, things that are in the game that represent a certain thing, so they become a talking point as well. So there are lots of different ways that we can approach that. Carol, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, and I think all that and understanding the setting. So there might be events or situations that really, you can't, you see that a game won't work, but you see that there are events that you say, okay, I might try, I might be able to try this. And as you said, it's try and error, just try. Use something that it's a little bit tricky, but. Yeah, I'm a firm believer of, pilot projects. As,
Mm,
as I mentioned, like we did use a ready game, and it was the promo of the month, yes, but it worked really well and it was really cheap and it's been working really well. So yeah, we have to try new things.
fantastic. Okay, we've got another one here from Katie Shaw. What's available? Which games would suit different sized exhibitions? Well, I think, there's lots of different games that you will have seen. I would definitely head onto our website, peekandpoke.com. You can find our full suite of ready to go games in the ready to go library. I think we've got different toggles for games for trade shows, particularly. We've got some football themed games. We've got some seasonal games as well. So there's lots to play with, lots to choose from, depending on, if you want to lean into the theme of the brand, the theme of the event, or a moment in the year. For example, we've got a World Cup coming up. So we're chatting to a lot of clients at the minute who are going to events that are around, May, June, July time, and want to do something that is leaning into that moment as well. So there is lots of different things available in terms of different sized events. As you have seen through Carol's experience, they can work in smaller spaces and they can work in bigger spaces as well. So what's nice about them being browser based is that you could actually have multiple devices. So if you had a bigger space, you could have lots of different devices that people are playing at the same time, but it all shares the leaderboard as well. So lots of different opportunities. And if you've got any questions for us, please do get in touch. Question from Patricia: how to tailor it to my brand? Yeah, lots of different ways. You might have noticed that we can very simply add a logo, change the copy. That's what Carol did with her Hornetsecurity game. Take it as it is, essentially, out of the box, or we can completely tailor it to your brand. So if we need to make sure that the colors are representing the brand, if we want to include a mascot, if we want to include some messaging, if we want to change a bit of the functionality, that is also possible with our tailored service. So it's a level of, it's a sliding scale of customization. So Patricia, if you've got anything in mind, yeah, do get in touch and we can have a chat about what we could do there. Jack from Ice and Harrison. Hello, Jack. How to best utilize data captured from events, and if there's any hardware that can be used to showcase our games. So the hardware one, I think we've covered. There are lots of ways that we can present games at stands. How to utilize data captured from events is a really good one. You can absolutely, from the back end, get the data downloaded as a CSV file, I would say it's really important to start messaging those people pretty quickly after the event. Um, you will have a list of people who have either opted into marketing and those who haven't. The way that we manage it is that we send if there's a prize involved, which generally we recommend, we would contact the winner and say, you are a winner. Thank you very much for playing. But we can contact everybody else as well to say, thank you so much for playing. You didn't win this time. If you'd like to know more about this, that, and the other, please do get in touch. And then you can start to funnel them in different ways. You can also, and this is possible with Ready to Go, you can set up a webhook so that it can directly talk to your CRM and you can send them an immediate email. So that's the way that we do it when we go to trade shows. Soon as somebody enters their details, they will get an email from Peek and Poke saying, thank you so much for playing. So there's lots of different ways to do it. And the nice thing about it, just coming back to what Carol mentioned about the sales team, it's a really nice way to come back into that conversation post show because people will remember. They were like, oh, you were the guys with the game. So it's a really nice kind of icebreaker conversation again, not only just at the event, but post show as well. I hope that answers that question, Jack. If you've got any others for us, let us know. Bill from Designable Web, what is the impact of games on time spent at booth or sales leads generated? So that's a really good question. And we definitely see an increase in dwell time. I think we've actually got some figures on that from a particular client who was measuring that. I think it increased the dwell time by about 9 minutes. I think it was a nourishment case study that's on our website, but it absolutely, anecdotally, definitely does because they're playing. And while the games are only 60 seconds, I would say 60 to 90 seconds per playthrough, you're having that conversation about the game, and then you can, talk to them about why they're here, what they want to get out of it. Is there anything that they can help with in the moment? Carol, have you got anything to add to that one?
I think on the footfall, one of the things that we saw was an increase on people coming to our stands, especially on those events that we have everyone kind of like set up the same with like just a tabletop and a banner.
Mm,
So we had about 20 to 30% increase on people coming into our table to first to see what's going on here. And at that, I don't know how much is the conversion to like, okay, talking to business, but yeah, definitely that increases
yeah.
into business conversations.
Yeah, that's amazing. So just by having it there, it's something that's
Yeah,
a little bit different that kind of attracts people
yeah.
across. Fantastic. Um, okay, Alison Brown from Carter's, that's probably a good follow-on question, how to attract people to your stand to take part. So you will definitely, and I think there is a question about how does it work for introverts too? So there's definitely two types of people that come to events, right? You'll have people who are just, their heads are turned immediately just by the fact that you've got a game on the stand. It's very nostalgic. They'll be like, oh my gosh, what is this? I want to get involved. You'll have some people who are just wanting to drink their coffee. They're wanting to get to their kind of,
Yeah.
to a breakout event or whatever it is. Um, but having it there, and this is what I always say to clients, is make sure that you're briefing your sales team to actually invite people to come and play, because some people will be kind of a bit nervous about it. They're kind of a bit worried about it. They've never seen them. They think that they're not very good at games. Always, always, always invite people. Do you want to come and play? Do you want to come play to win? All you have to do is get a score on the leaderboard and you will be in with a chance to win. And it's at that point that it's, oh, that's more interesting. Oh, okay, then let's have a go. So definitely brief the sales team on inviting people to play and how the game works as well.
Yes, and I think also having material on the side. So if you have any flyers or anything that you can put on the top on the tabletop, or even if you can, we start to do this year on the banner itself, like play to win or like come and play, and also promote on social media as well. With your presence at the event, like come and play the game. I think it all adds to the presence of the game there. And I know that we can't sometimes put sounds, so like the music of the game and etc. But also have your team playing there. So
Mm.
you know, because I know that sales teams also they like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sit a bit in work, but you know, have them playing around also like draws people to see, okay, what's going on there.
It really does. That's a really good point. And actually, salespeople are very good at that. They're very good at being loud and noisy, myself included. So when you are on the stand, and there's nobody around, it's a bit of a quiet time. Have the sales team play, and make a bit of a noise about it, and it definitely just adds to a bit of, oh, what's going on there? What's happening? And it, yeah, helps to drive that bit of buzz. Fantastic. Okay. Simon from Booth Exhibits, options available. How easy is it to integrate and the minimal tech requirements, Wi-Fi speed? I think we've probably covered that in the Q&A. I've seen the chat that's been going on. Literally all you need, electricity and dedicated Wi-Fi, we say. It doesn't have to be a strong internet connection. It just needs to be a stable one. So when it loads, they're probably about 10 meg, our games, and then it doesn't use the internet at all until you are submitting a score, and then it needs to talk to the server. So yeah, it is important that you do have Wi-Fi, but that's it. And it's as you've heard, a very simple setup. Kate Milligan from Softworks. Hi, Kate. What two-player games would you recommend for a security trade show where you want engagement, but not for them to need 5 to 10 minutes to play? So two-player games is something that is in the pipeline. We've got one two-player game at the minute, which is a football game. So you can kind of choose your team and play head-to-head. But that is the only two-player game. They are mostly kind of single-player. The fact that you don't want them there for 5 to 10 minutes to play a game, that is a really good question. So our demo games that you will play on the website are all set up for online use. So some of them will have multi levels, some of them will have 10 levels as well. Our games all have a event counterpart. So if you want to take a game to an event, it will be set up slightly differently. All of those multi-level games, you don't want that at a trade show. Like you said, you don't want them hanging around and working their way through 10 levels. You want them to move on quite quickly so that you can let somebody else have a go and then you can move the conversation on. So all of the multi-level events come down to a single level. The score submission criteria is also easier, so you get more people on that leaderboard because that's what you want. So they are quick to play. So while we have huge engagement figures on our website, and we do, some of our online campaigns have got huge engagement figures because people come back to play over and over and over again. At a trade show event, you'll have, maybe people playing 2 to 3 times at most, with a 60 to 90-second playthrough. So they're not hogging it for that long. But if you have any, particular events that you're going to, Kate, and you want some advice on what games to use, please do get in touch. We've got Gail from Trunk. Do you have any examples of how digital games that include physical elements, games that are tactile, produce any kind of keepsake or link to print materials? So I think I've seen somebody answer this as well. So they're mostly digital. We do have arcade cabs which have that nostalgic kind of feel to them because they have a joystick. You can also plug in a D-pad so that you're playing on a D-pad controller. In terms of producing link to print materials, that's a really good question. And actually, we see lots of people do this. So at the end of our games, there is an opportunity to use kind of like an additional call to action screen, what we call a thank you panel, which after you have submitted your score before it goes to the leaderboard, is an opportunity to have a little message in there. On Carol's one, I think you had, please come back to the stand at 6:30 to see if you've won a prize. Some people have now, book a discovery call, or they have a QR code that says, uh, scan the QR code to download the white paper or the ebook, or to book in a meeting, something like that. So that would be how we would say that you would link to any printed materials, because of course you don't really want a button that links when you're at a trade show stand, because you don't want them navigating away from the game on a shared device. So if you wanted to link to something, that's how we would suggest that you do it. Okay, let me just jump quickly into the chat and see if there is anything that I have missed, or the Q&A. Maybe I'll go in here. Are most people dropping into the chat? Yeah, okay. Tim, perhaps you can hop in here and tell me if there's any questions that I have missed that need to be answered.
Sure. I think for the most part, you've covered the questions in the conversation anyway.
Excellent.
Just a couple of things. We covered the Wi-Fi. Um, Donald asks, how do you manage compers?
Ooh, as in the compers that just go around floating and just want to play games and win swag.
I
If
think
that's
so.
what you mean, if that's what you mean, Donald. Yes, there are compers that float around these big events. We know. I guess you just have to move them on quite politely, give them what they want, get them onto the leaderboard. What's nice about the way that we manage it and how we suggest is that in the moment you might want to give them something that is quite low value, so we give away t-shirts or pens or whatever for playing, but then save the big prize for the free prize draw at the end. So the chances are that it's not going to be a compo. You can qualify who those are as well, so you could have a field in there that has a job title or a company
Hmm.
name, so that you can dismiss any compers
Yeah.
that were playing. Did you have anything to add to that one, Carol?
No, yeah, no, I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it is difficult as well, with people wandering in off the street, but I think there's less and less of that now as we've been going to events that are more paid for as well. So it just depends, I suppose, who's floating around. But yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
think I had one more question.
mhm.
Where's it gone? Joanne asked, do we have any games that have a tangible physical element rather than just electronic?
Ah, yeah, so I think I might have covered that with the arcade cab answer. So most of our games are digital and they're browser based, and they will load into a digital device. But I guess tangible, we have arcade cabs which have a um uh what do you call it? What do you call it, Tim?
Joystick.
A joystick.
Yes.
I said it earlier
Buttons.
and
Yeah.
it just gone. Joystick, so that you can navigate around the maze or whatever game it is, which is always quite good fun. They're very nostalgic and they turn a lot of heads. And you can also play on a D-pad as well. So you could have a laptop with a game connecting to a big TV on via HDMI, and then have a little a gamepad controller, which is again very nostalgic. Okay, I think we might have covered everything. Um, I did promise you an offer, so we are at 11:01. Very quickly, the offer will be coming to you in an email, but essentially, everybody who is on the webinar today, if you buy any premium ready-to-go game, if you want to know what that is, do get in touch, with a 12-month event license, just like Carol had, so you can use it for the entire year. The cost for that is £2,995. We will give you a touchscreen rental for worth £900 for free for your first event to try it, so that you should have everything that you need to run your first game campaign at your trade shows. So there will be more detail on that in the event when the recording comes through in the email. And if you have any other questions for us, please do get in touch. You can find all the contact details at peekandpoke.com. Thank you so much for joining. Carol, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest and for sharing your experience.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.